Look at my penis.
I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori. Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beat us through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Because you listen to the Man Now.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. I'm sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page and check out the blog section as well. My man Tyler Faber has dropped another great Packers blog over there telling you why Aaron Rodgers will win another MVP. That's right, 3 straight MVPs from the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron freaking Rodgers himself. I can tell you that that's not going to happen because I've already told you guys that's not going to happen. But it is Fantasy Football Wednesday, guys, so my man Tori Anderson is on the line here at manhour_Tori on the old Twitter machine is where you can find him. We got 3 topics we're going to cover for Fantasy Football tonight. But let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Tori Anderson himself. Tori, what's going on there, buddy?
What is going on? It's Wednesday already. It is hump day. Day 3 of the work hostage situation is over. We are on the downhill slide, my friend.
We are definitely on the downhill slide of things. And hump day is such a weird word because, like, I think hump day and I want to go hump. Like I kind of want to get over the hump. I want to get in the hump, right?
Well, that's why. But then you get really weird looks when I use day 3 of the work hostage situation. Then I get really weird work looks from that one too. So
yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But it is Fantasy Football Wednesday, guys. If you guys got any questions, pop them out in the chat here, and we'll get them answered for you if we have time, obviously, because my man Tori Anderson is only here for about 30 to 40 minutes tops. So, Tori, let's go ahead and get right into it, man. So, obviously, mini drafts are starting to happen right now, and I'm actually getting ready to do my family draft here in the next hour or so. So, give me some draft advice to basically avoid messing up my draft, Tori.
But first, we have 10 days until we have the Man Hour Fantasy Football Draft. You might want to avoid that league because guess what? I'm in it. So be aware of the back alley streetwalkers because it would not let me use the name TJ's Hookers, which has been the name of every single one of my fantasy football teams for eternity. Told me it was offensive, but I could use back alley streetwalkers. So one of the things you want to avoid, big things, do not fall into this trap like everybody does. Don't fall for the run. Look for the players that you need at the positions you need. First round, again, we base everything off of PPR. Running backs that are dual threats are going to be among the first players gone. If you're sitting at 5 and you're sitting at 6 and you're not looking at a top tier running back, you better be looking at like the top tier wide receivers that are out there. You better be having your eyes open for that. Do not fall for the runs. You're going to see it probably, again, depending on the scoring in your league, probably 3rd or 4th round, you're going to start seeing top-tier quarterbacks go. Don't fall for the runs. It's the biggest mistake that you can do. It's much like a regular NFL team. We follow our board. Follow your own board. Do not deviate from your board. That is the number one mistake that most fantasy football owners make because they're like, oh, crap, I got one running back, and now a bunch of the other running backs go, I better get a second running. Don't do it. If your need is still for like another receiver and you're like, okay, I got a top-tier running back, you can still wait on that second running back for maybe a round or two because the point differential between that running back that you're going to get in that round and the next round might be only 5-10 points. So go for what your needs are first. I was made fun of one year. I took a defense in the 8th round in our league because they don't score a ton of points. Guess what I did that year? And I'm trying to remember who my defense was. I want to say it was Baltimore, but they led the league in defense. They had like 6 like returns for touchdowns. They led the league in scoring. They scored more than some of the players on my team, and I went 15-0 that year. So was it a risk on my part? Probably, but it fit a need of what I needed on my roster for a starter at that point. And regardless of what they're going to call you, they're going to call you Homer or say, what are you doing that for? Don't matter. Follow your board. Whatever your league scoring is, take your best player available regardless of position and regardless of bye week. You can always fill in with bye week stuff. That's another mistake that people make. They look at their bye week and say, I can't have that on. No, don't be afraid to make a transaction. That transaction could be the difference between you making the playoffs and being out of the playoffs and having no money. So absolutely do not pay attention to bye weeks.
Yeah, so that is some great advice, just because I see many people pulling out their boards and say, this quarterback's in a bye week, so I can't get Mahomes, Jackson, or Tom Brady just because they all fall on the same bye week too. So I need that is some great advice right there, 100%. So Tori, let me ask you this question here. Now, you said you drafted a defense 8th overall that one particular year that
eighth round.
Oh, sorry, 8th round. That and you did go 15-0. Give me 3 defenses that are going to be sleepers this year.
Oh, you want sleepers? And then we talked about it a little bit last week. I think Green Bay. There's big things you want to look for. What is going to be a potential great defense on a year? Playmakers at each level. Do they have a good defensive lineman? Do they have a really good linebacker? Do they have a good person in the secondary? Those things are if they got Pro Bowl caliber players there, you're probably going to have a pretty good defense. Green Bay has Kenny Clark up front. They have Devondre Campbell and Rashawn Gary, who wasn't a Pro Bowler, will probably be a Pro Bowler this year. In the linebacking core, you have Jair Alexander and Eric Stokes, who are probably 2 of the best corners, plus a pretty formidable safety tandem. That is one defense you are going to want to keep your eye on, 100%. They're right now, I think I looked at CBS, and they're like the 17th or 18th ranked defense in there. It's going to be a defense that's going to get after the quarterback a ton this year. They brought what's the defensive coordinator's name over from the Rams last year. He got off to a slow start, and I was like, who is this guy? And the defense came on strong, and I believe they finished number 9 or 10 in the league last year. And that was without the players that they had. All these guys got another year of experience. So give me Green Bay. That is a highly underranked defense. 2, the New England Patriots. Right now, they're the 10th ranked defense. I think they're probably closer to top 5 than anything else. It's a defense that's going to go out. It's going to make plays. It's going to be consistent. As much as I hate to admit it, the consistency of the Patriots, their defense, same thing. They've always find a way to have a really good defense. They stick to their game plan. They play to their strengths, and they expose the other team's weaknesses. That's what the Patriots do, and they have an amazing way to do it. Give me the New England Patriots all day long. My third defense, I'm sorry, Packer Nation, you're going to kill me on this one too. But the Vikings actually have a very, very stout defense that nobody's talking about.
They do.
They have playmakers all up and down that defense as well. The only concern there might be their secondary. Their secondary is not strong, but you have Harrison Smith. So you always have a chance to have a great secondary with that because he's the leader of that defense. So I would tell you the Minnesota Vikings as well, keep an eye on them. Again, watch your preseason games. Once we hit, week 3, when starters are going to play, watch for certain players and watch for certain types of defenses that they're playing. I mean, you're going to see vanilla defense, but you're going to see a lot more closer to live game speed from them.
Right. So those are 3 sleeper defenses that you had, and I misread the breakdown. That's my fault. So give me some top 3 defenses that you would draft. My bad.
So no, and the thing is that I'm okay covering that because 1, the Rams, that's a no-brainer. Super Bowl champions. The only person they really lost was Von Miller, who was only there for half the year anyways. They draft and they develop well. So obviously the Rams are probably going to be the first defense off the board. Second defense off the board is probably going to be the Buffalo Bills. So again, you can't go wrong at all, especially in that division. you got Tua, who, I mean, the Dolphins
Trash.
I kind of like. Tua is a turnover machine. Yeah, my other boy Zach is trash. Is out for a few weeks, and plus he's not very good anyways. And then who knows? Mac Jones could fall into the sophomore slump. You just don't know. It's kind of the wild card there. And then my third defense there is a little bit towards the bottom of the top 10, but I think that they're going to be a really good unit. Again, just based off of the division they play in, and that 6 games that they get, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. That's a team that just continues to restock and reload. I don't care what year it is. I don't care who's coaching the defense. As long as John Harbaugh is there, they're going to have a stellar defense.
Right.
Year in and year out, they prove it. So they just literally restock and reload every year. Like, we lost a Pro Bowler. Okay, we'll just replace him with whoever. And they are magic when it comes to picking defensive players.
Right. And if we look back to what a couple years ago, who was that safety that they let walk? And he was going to sign with the Cowboys, but ended up didn't signing anywhere, and they never missed a beat. His name's slipping my mind right now, but
yeah, I can't think of who it is either.
But he was a Pro Bowl safety. They just let him walk and reload.
They let Judon walk. They let Zadarius Smith walk. They just reload. They were like, okay, whatever. And again, and it's because they have a good system. And again, I say the defense can be good because you have 6 games against the Steelers, the Browns, who knows what that mess is going to be like, and who else is in that division? Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to probably be the only real stickler, but again, that could be a wild card too, again, because technically this is Joe Burrow's 2nd full year. So
yeah,
we don't know. That could be a prime regression as well.
Yeah, and people fail to understand that they were a 10-17 going into the playoffs. They just happened to get hot at the right time last year too. So let's not bat an eye at that.
Ask the New York Giants how that works, because that's the exact same thing they did to go to 2 Super Bowls.
Right. Me and Combs had that discussion. Like, anytime a team makes it into the playoffs and they're hot, like, you can make a deep, deep run. So we do have a couple people in the chat here, and we have some Kansas City Chiefs Nation happening over there. He says, where would you rank my Chiefs defense? I have a draft happening in 2 weeks, and I want to draft my boys.
I draft them if that's what you want to do, but be careful. I wouldn't draft them to be my starting defense this year. They have had holes the last few years, and you lost the Honey Badger. It's going to be a patchwork defense again. If you were looking for a backup defense, absolutely. Personally, I only draft one defense every single year because, again, the only other defense I'm going to need is for 1 week. I'll pick somebody. I'll look at the schedule and see who's good and who's playing a crap team that defense hasn't picked up, and I'll pick them up because I'm only going to use them for 1 week. I would honestly say if you want to draft them. That could be your quote unquote homer pick. But other than that, I would probably stay away from Kansas City this year.
Yeah, last year I actually didn't even play a defense on my off week, and I actually won that game because my defense kept scoring me negative points. So, but I was a homer and didn't want to let them go. So the next person in the chat here, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but he dropped a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I think it's Army of One Many. I'm not for sure. Sorry for butchering your name there. But he says, Tori, I am doing a new fantasy draft strategy this year. I'm going to draft players that have all bye weeks on the same week. Is this a good idea or a bad idea?
Is that Joey?
No, it's not Joey.
I mean, it depends who the players are. It depends what kind of trade bait you got. If you got them all in the same way, if you got, say, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes both as your quarterback, you got some great trade bait if they got the same bye week. And that's a part of the reason I say don't pay attention to bye weeks, because if you need to, injuries are going to happen. It's a matter of fact in this league, and that's if you can and you have 2 players and one of them's a little more expendable than the rest. Absolutely trade one. That was the situation I actually ran into last year. I had 5 really good receivers. I have Michael Pittman Jr. as my 5th receiver, who was a pretty good receiver last year. And I just kept getting running back injuries, and I kept trying to work trades. It just so happened I could never really work anything out with anybody. But I was offering my wide receivers left and right because of bye weeks. But at that point, I drafted them because A, trade bait, B, I might need them just based off an injury.
Right. So you are saying to go with that strategy, or would you steer away from that strategy?
Personally, I would steer far away from that strategy because otherwise you're gonna. I mean, it depends. Does your league charge for transactions?
Yeah,
or you're gonna lose a lot of people because I've had that happen too, where I'm like, oh, I'll just cut this guy and I'll pick him up next week, and waiver wire came next week and I couldn't get my guy back.
Yeah, he said he is doing this simply because he's tired of beating everybody every year. Join a tougher league. Join the Man Hour League.
Have it. Yeah. Join the Man Hour League.
There you go.
We're on ESPN.
We're on ESPN, and right now we have 8. We have 8 teams, and I locked it, but I can open it to like 12 or 10.
I would say
so.
open it up to 10 for now, and 12 if we can get it, because 12 team leagues is where it's at. That's the fun part. Is 12. So, because now all of a sudden you got to start prioritizing draft picks.
Right, there we go. All right, so the next question that comes rolling in here, I am in a half PPR league, Tori. Should I draft a quarterback first or a running back first? I have the 4th overall pick in a snake draft.
It depends what the quarterback scoring's like. Again, the league I'm in, it doesn't benefit quarterbacks a ton. We only get 4 points a touchdown pass. And we only get 1 point for every 50 yards passing. I would say, again, in a league, even if it's a half PPR, if it's PPR, you're probably taking a running back at that point. I'd be looking probably at either Austin Eckler at that point or Dalvin Cook.
All right, Austin Eckler or Dalvin Cook for your 4th overall pick there, mister. So this one is from Tyler Faber, Tori. He says, I am in a PPR league as well. I had the last pick of the first round, number 14, and then number 15 pick. Should I try to go after a quarterback for that number 15 pick?
Again, what's your scoring like? If you're quarterback, if it's standard, no, I would probably either trying to pair up a couple of high-end wide receivers, or I would try to get a running back and a receiver. Again, PPR. Your running backs and your receivers top end are primal real estate. And to me, I do not like the first pick. That is awful. That's an awful spot to sit. Give me that last pick in that first round, and so I get the first pick in the second round every single day. I personally, I'm drafted number 7 in my league this year. I love that because I don't really wait a ton between picks at that middle position. Plus, I'm going to end up with either a top 4 running back or a top 3 wide receiver at that point too. But whatever your scoring is, if your quarterback score a ton, go after a quarterback. Go after a Mahomes or go after a Rodgers. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Like in our league, we don't get penalized for interceptions or fumbles or anything like that. But that's why our quarterbacks only get 4 points a touchdown pass too.
Right.
Though, so
that makes perfect sense.
So we don't prioritize that. Like the year I went 15-0, the one guy in our league took Aaron Rodgers number 2 overall, number 2, which then allowed the board to fall to me, which I'm not going to complain. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I feel like the first overall pick in a snake draft is suck because because you're sitting there for like an hour and a half. You're like, man, am I ever going to get to play again? Like, this is boring.
Right.
So,
I mean, after the first round, it's not bad because then you get back-to-back picks.
Yeah, but then you wait again for another hour, right?
Right.
So, Tori.
Well, unless we have a minute and a half timer on ours where you get a minute and a half to make your pick.
Yeah, I put a 60-second timer on ours, I think. So hopefully it goes.
I like that.
It goes fairly quick. All right, sorry about that. So, our final planned topic of the night, Tori, is obviously potential first round bust. There are always that label of who am I going to draft, and like, wow, why did I draft this guy? Who was a potential first round bust that you have kind of highlighted on your list?
I think almost everybody in the entire world has this person listed and circled there, just because the last 2 years have not been good. CMC. I mean, Christian McCaffrey still rated like the number 2 or number 3 overall running back, still going number 2 or 3 in most ADPs, or according to ADP, excuse me. And I'm staying away from CMC that early. Late first round potentially, because I'm going to come back around relatively quick. I might be able to cover that. But taking him in the top 3 is going to be a huge mistake. He's proven the last 2 years he cannot stay healthy. Chuba Hubbard last year actually stepped in, played relatively well. He's going to start cutting into those carries eventually. The fact that they tried to trade him this offseason and nobody could take him speaks volumes of what they are thinking to do with CMC.
Sorry.
They're looking at the future already. As soon as they can get out of his contract, they're getting out of his contract. That does not bode well for what his workload is going to be like this year. It's going to be a very managed workload. He's going to go very high in most drafts. I would stay 1,000 yards away from him.
Yeah, so I've actually been in many drafts so far, like many mock drafts. Like I've been on ESPN, just killing some time and doing those mock drafts. And it seems like every draft I've been in, CMC has been going 3, 4, and 5 overall picks. And then I'm in the I'm in the chat group. So I'm saying, like, why are you guys taking him? Because he has been hurt, just like what you said. And my man Alpha Rob, what's up, Alpha Rob? Thank you for joining us in night here. And they said that you cannot draft off of fear. You cannot draft off what if he gets hurt? What if he scores 30 points a game again? So
but that goes both ways though.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, if you're drafting him, we're going off of fact. This is what has happened for the X amount of years with him. So, I call it the Fred Taylor theory. If you remember back in the day, Fred Taylor was a running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That guy was injury prone. Like every year, he's going to be the greatest running back. He's going to be the greatest. For the first 4 years of his career, I don't think he played more than 5 games.
Yeah.
And then after that, he did get healthy. However, CMC's kind of going the other way. He had a 2 or 3 year stretch where he was healthy and amazing, and now he's going. To me, it's almost like the Terrell Davis syndrome. He had a great little short burst, and now it's all kind of going downhill.
Yeah. So let me ask you that question, because Terrell Davis was in the league for about 5, 6 years.
7 years, I think.
7 years. He had that 2,000-yard season, and then after that, he was kind of like a mediocre guy. Does he really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
You ask me, absolutely not. That to me, that is an absolute atrocity and a joke.
Yeah.
Because it is a slap in the face to those guys that had longevity in the league.
Right.
That put together 10, 12 years. There's a lot of really good players that put together long careers of 10, 12 years that are not in the Hall of Fame. This guy, because he had 3 really good years and then blew his knee out, got into the Hall. So I'm sure you've seen those articles. I've seen articles and I've seen players say it, that the Hall of Fame is a joke now.
Right.
Like it's basically like a participation trophy. And to a point, I agree with them.
Right.
Not all the way, but like somebody like that, like to me, Terrell Davis does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And again, Broncos fans are going to murder me on this one. But I just don't, you didn't do that. By that case, Dorsey Levens from the Green Bay Packers should be in the Hall of Fame because he had 4 good years. Amon Green should be in the Hall of Fame. To me, that's not the case. He got in on name alone. That is it. Name recognition. That's it.
How about the 2 Super Bowl rings? I mean, like that kind of seemed to be like a measuring stick as well.
How many MVPs did he have with those? None.
0. Yeah. So my man Alpha Rob comes in and drops a statement here. Not really a question, but a statement. Alpha Rob is a Buffalo Bill guy, and he says, a fantasy sleeper, my guy, Gabe Davis, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Thoughts?
Why you got to ruin one of my picks there? Why you got to ruin it, Rob? So we might as well just get into it. So one of my players that has potential to be a bust is actually Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has a chance to be not the number 1 receiver in Buffalo this year. Gabe Davis played amazing down the stretch last year. He started to become Allen's go-to target towards the end of the season. In the playoffs, it wasn't Diggs. It was Gabe Davis and it was Knox. Those are the 2 people he was going after. So yes, absolutely. I am on the Gabe Davis bandwagon. He's going to take probably 20 to 30 catches away from Stephon Diggs. I am a big Stephon Diggs guy, even though he played for Minnesota. He's in Buffalo. I like Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was on my undefeated team, so I'm like all on team Stephon Diggs. He was on my team last year. But watching the games, just because I was watching for Diggs, I watched the evolution of Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, the later the year went, became more and more and more of a favorite target of Josh Allen. So, yes, I would tell you, if nobody else is looking at him, chances are, if you're in the Buffalo area, most people are like, let's go. Bills Mafia. All your Bills players are going to go quick. But if you're not, like in my league here in Wisconsin, I'm probably going to be able to sneak Gabe Davis probably in the 12th or 13th round, and it'll be one of the steals of the draft.
Yeah, so there you go. My man Tori Anderson dropping some knowledge there on you. And I actually did look up Stephon Diggs' fantasy projections. He is projected to be a fantasy wide receiver number 3. So they are projecting 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns this year. So
Wait, what?
yeah, 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns.
I would put money on the under on that one all day long.
Yeah, so this is from fantasypros.com, so I'm not for sure how they figure out, like, how do you think they figure out these freaking fantasy projections?
Metrics. It's all based off of metrics.
Yeah.
But they're basing that the fact – are they just basing off the fact that the Buffalo Bills will just never run the ball this year? Just like they did last year?
Yeah, well, they do got a new offensive coordinator. So I actually said on a show last night, Tori, that the Buffalo Bills would be better without Josh Allen because they would be a better balanced offense and use that running back in Singletary.
I disagree. I do think Singletary was misused last year.
I think he was misused, yes.
Singletary is a really good running back, but they tried to make him more of a runner when he is actually more of a receiving back out of the backfield. They need somebody that can ground and pound, and that's not him. He is a great – he's kind of he reminds me a lot of Warrick Dunn back in the day.
Right.
That's who he reminds me of. He's not going to be your every down back, but he's going to be a productive back, and you can kind of utilize him all over the place.
Yeah, so going back to Stephon Diggs here, I actually just pulled up ESPN and Yahoo. Yahoo has him as wide receiver number 10, and ESPN has him as wide receiver number 13. Where do you think they got your man Gabe at? Gabe Davis.
They probably got him in like the 40s. I would say like 44.
16. Yahoo has him at 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't think honestly.
ESPN's
I don't think they're that far
30.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're that far off at 16. I really don't. If you bring up his stats, his game stats, look at his game stats towards the end of the year. It was more and more and more. He built momentum towards the end of the year. He built that rapport and that trust with Josh Allen.
All right. So Alpha Rob says they're going to run the ball more this year. New offensive line and linemen, and James Cook. Maybe. Maybe.
I do like the James Cook thing.
Why does James Cook sound familiar, but it's not clicking in my head?
Because it's Dalvin Cook's brother.
Okay. There we go. So what did Dalvin Cook get in trouble for last year? Was it like beating a woman or something?
No.
Didn't he get in trouble?
No. His name's not Adrian Peterson.
No, like I thought he
didn't hit nobody with no switch.
There was a reason why Dalvin Cook's name was coming up in the media. I can't remember why. He did something wrong.
No, he got injured. He's supposed to be out like a month and he came back.
Oh no! It was the military police woman that was beating him up, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you. Yeah, that's some BDSM shit, and I'd be for it. Wait, what? Sorry, no. I'm just kidding. So, Tori, Gabe Davis is a fantasy sleeper. You get me a fantasy, like a couple defensive fantasy guys I like as well. Do you want to sprinkle another fantasy sleeper in there that you could draft later in the draft?
Whew. He just got traded, and this could be a good thing because he's going to be a quiet number 3 if he gels with the offense, and that team is going to be terrible, and they're going to throw the ball a ton. And this is going to be a reach because he's got to learn the offense. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I think that he got lost in the depth chart in Philadelphia. He's a second-round pick that had first-round talent that was kind of like, eh. But when he got his time to shine and he kind of got to step up, he did well. I don't know exactly what the problem was in Philadelphia. I don't know if he was just a bad locker room guy, but he has the potential to be the number 3 there behind DK and Tyler Lockett because they got rid of pretty much, I don't know, everybody else. And he has that chance to actually show what he can do. Granted, it all depends on who the quarterback is. And you can poop in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up first. And one of those is Drew Lock, and the other one is Geno Smith. So, yeah.
So put a name on it. Who is pooping? Who is the wish?
I refuse to do that. Just in case Drew Lock and Geno Smith watch the show. I love you guys. I hate the Seahawks, but I love you guys.
Hashtag waffle. I think Drew Lock is going to do well in Seattle if he gets a very good.
It sounds like he's got the nod right now. So yeah. I'm going to assume it's going to be him. You traded for him, so. No.
Yeah. Alpha Rob asked
the Broncos.
Go ahead.
The Broncos aren't exactly known for developing young quarterbacks. So.
Right, and he never really had a shot either. He kept bouncing around, was hurt, and everything else. So, Alpha Rob says the Eagles traded him for who? It was a cornerback, I believe his name was like Sue or something like that, right? Like Sue, can't remember.
No, it's a name I can't pronounce, and I feel bad.
Eagles trade. Hey. I'm pretty sure it was Sue. Oh, it's Hugo
Amadi.
Yeah,
Hugo Amadi.
Yeah.
So a quarterback who actually played really well for the Seahawks last year.
Which is funny because the Seahawks are known for developing young talent, and he is a third-year guy, and they're letting him walk like that. Not walk, but they need to like boost up their offense, I guess, a little bit. But it is what it is. So, Tori, do you have time for one more question?
I do.
One more question. Okay.
I didn't do it.
So, Tori, I am drafting 8th overall in my draft. This is coming from Twitter at @manhour_buck. I'm drafting number 8th overall in my league. This is not a snake draft. This is a standard draft.
Ooh.
How can I convince the commissioner to do a snake draft so I don't get effed in this draft?
Force them to make draft position based off of finish the year before. That's probably the best way. And we actually did that in our league a couple of years ago, and it works out kind of nice. So wherever you finish in the league, that's where you draft. So, like I got bounced in the first round of the playoffs last year, so I drafted 7th. So
there you go. Have you ever done a salary draft?
I did one time one year.
Is it any fun?
It was the only time I ever did it, so I can't say for sure. I wasn't a fan of it because it's almost like a silent auction where you all put your bids in for that player. And it's the cool part is because you have a salary cap that you have to manage. You know, all of a sudden you're down to like, oh, we have 3 rounds drafted, and I have $4 left on my salary cap. So I guess I'm buying players for $1,
right?
And you're not guaranteed them. So I've done one time. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
I would rather do the snake draft just because we play for the camaraderie and mostly so all the guys can get together and hang out. But I have done it, and it was done silent auction style. So we all submitted our bid, and like it's funny because if 2 guys went in and bid the same, guess what? Everybody had to rebid.
Oh, really?
Which brought a different element to it too, because you did not, you didn't really, you would write your team name on there, and so if say you bid $34 for Jonathan Taylor, and I bid $34 for Jonathan Taylor, they just say, okay, there's 2 bids. The commissioner says there's 2 bids for $34. Actually, now that I think about it, you can't even have your commissioner do it because if they're part of the league, they see what everybody bids.
Right.
You actually need a third party.
Yeah.
No wonder I lost that league.
Everything makes sense now. It's all coming clear. Yeah. No.
Also, I'm like, wait a minute. So
one more question, Tori, before we go. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. No, I was done.
So one more question here. I am in a competitive league and a free league. I feel like I have more fun in the free league. Do you feel the same way?
No, because it's not my mentality. I am a very competitive person. Like that's just how I am. I've played in free leagues before, and I don't care because there's nothing on the line for me.
Right.
Like, I did a free league with a bunch of my friends, and I went in and it was going to be an auto draft, and I went and like set like my entire thing. I had like the most ridiculous, because nobody else did it. I did. So it would pick all the players I had rated for whatever. And I had like Peyton Manning in his prime. I had Randy Moss. I had like all these players. And I finished like 7th in the league because I never went in and set my lineups because I didn't care because it was free.
Right.
Like everybody else is like playing it like, oh, I had other things to do. I had my money league that's going to actually produce me money. I'm a big, I don't know if I can even say that name up for the app. There's an app that you can go play fantasy football on that I play on during the season so we don't get yelled at. With the initials DK Metcalf. So I play on that a ton. So yeah, like for me, I like the thrill of the chase. For fun, yeah, that's great. But some of your friends are going to take the fun like competitively still. I'm not. There's nothing. I like the thrill of the chase personally. Right. That's just me. I'm competitive, and I like to have something online. Like literally, I will bet you on who crosses the street first.
I feel like you kind of hedge your bet a little bit here because the Man Hour League that we're in is free league. So when I beat you in that league, you're like, oh, I wasn't taking it very serious because it was free.
Not really. I might actually try in that league.
You're hedging your bet
because it's got you, Wyatt, and Combsy in it. So yeah. I might. Wait, did Soup join?
I'm not for sure. I have to go back and look.
If he didn't, you're scared. You're scared, Soup.
We are.
You don't want none of this. You don't want none of this smoke.
You don't want none of this smoke. Tori, it's Wednesday. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining us. We'll be next Thursday or next Wednesday. Tori will be here as well. Fantasy Football Wednesday. Tori, let the people know anything you want to tell them before you head out.
What you need to do is I'm still on a quest to get more real followers on Twitter at manhour_Tori than robot followers that are European lingerie models that want to have sex with me. I'm pretty sure that's really not the case. I am looking for more real human followers. Ask me your fantasy football questions because guess what? Otherwise, I don't really look at it too much because I refer to myself as Twitter dumb. But if you ask me a question, I'm going to respond to it and I'm going to help you out. Let me help you with your league. Help me help you. Help me help you.
I feel like I want to go run through a wall for you now, Tori. Help me help you. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the Man Hour tonight. Join me tomorrow live, Raw Uncut Sports Talk. See you tomorrow.